My name is John Strimling, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of SMTP. I'm going to walk you through our investor presentation and why we believe SMTP offers a compelling opportunity for investors. Our safe harbor statement is available for your review at investors.smtp.com. Let's talk about the opportunity in front of us. SMTP has a proven history of profitable growth spanning back over a decade. To this, we've coupled two transformative acquisitions which are going to allow us to challenge some of the biggest names in the industry like HubSpot and Marketo. SharpSpring brings us a compelling new opportunity for users of marketing automation, and GraphicMail brings us a mid-range solution and global distribution through which to sell all of our products and services. So we'll walk you through these acquisitions, but first, let me back up for a second and tell you a little bit about our history. So SMTP has a history of profitable operation. On a trailing 12-month basis through the third quarter of this year, with $6 million of revenues and $2 million of EBITDA. We've been selling about half domestically and half overseas historically. And what we do is we deliver email for commercial senders of opt-in email. So in the same sense that a company might turn to FedEx to make sure that a package got to somebody's doorstep, our company has been making sure that large volume senders' emails get to the intended recipient's inbox. So for opt-in promotional messages, like a hotel trying to reach its customers with important promotion, the fact of the matter is that without services like ours, 22% of the time, that email doesn't get through. It's very different than when you're an individual sender, but for high-volume senders, it's hard to get those emails through the inbox because of the ever-tightening spam filters. So we help our senders do that. That's what we've done historically, and it's important to understand that in terms of how it complements the businesses we just bought. So let's now talk about the transformative acquisitions we just made. These two acquisitions dramatically broaden our market reach. SMTP's delivery services are illustrated on the slide as a green bar, but most customers couldn't access them without a front-end application, which is shown by the two horizontal blue bars representing most of the market that needs either a traditional email service front-end, such as one you would use for sending newsletters, or a sophisticated marketing automation solution, such as you would use for one-to-one communications with customers that are triggered in response to a particular visit to a website. The acquisition of these two firms allows us to address the whole market. It also added revenues to our business, taking us from $1.5 million in Q4 of 2013 to somewhere between $2.8 and $2.9 million we've announced in the fourth quarter of 2014. It also propels us and allows us to leapfrog incumbents in the marketing automation market. So you'll see in this market, there are several players, Pardot, Eloqua, HubSpot, Marketo, that have market values or have transacted recently in the range of $1 billion or more. We're a tiny player compared to these companies, but we're coming up strongly, and I'll show you why and how. First of all, here's some third-party data showing that SharpSpring is today competing and winning customers in the same marketing automation market. So a recent report by VentureBeat identified that in October, SharpSpring had added almost half as many customers as Marketo or Pardot, and had done it in the first year of the product's launch with a tiny fraction of the marketing spend that these other firms have done, with a solution that by and large the market hadn't heard of yet. So we believe that we're very well positioned for aggressive growth by stepping up our investment in sales and marketing. Let's talk about why it's selling. Rick Carlson, who was the founder of SharpSpring, looked at Marketo years ago and recognized the power of the technology, but that it was limited by two barriers to adoption. One was the difficulty of implementation, and the other was that it didn't encompass the entire picture of what happened with a customer. So SharpSpring has built a uniquely flexible architecture which is easy to implement, which also encompasses a built-in CRM system for capturing sales interactions and a built-in call tracking system for capturing phone interactions with customers. So we'll show you what this looks like on the next slide. In the same sense that the iPhone revolutionized how we communicate by putting a phone and a camera and a computer in your pocket, SharpSpring combines these three solutions in one application for the customer. So together we offer a CRM solution, a marketing automation solution, and call tracking, all for a price that's less than customers are paying for Marketo today. That's why SharpSpring is winning customers with almost no marketing budget today. GraphicMail, which we acquired in the fourth quarter of 2014, adds two critical elements to our business. First of all, it adds a mid-range product that's necessary for most senders of email who are sending newsletters and more typical promotions. The second thing it adds is international distribution. It gives us feet on the ground, salesmen speaking the local language in 14 countries all over the world and in 13 languages. We're going to use this channel to sell our entire suite of products and services through. On the product side, we've gone from being a niche player in the relay service market, shown as a very small sliver of the pie on the left of the screen, to being a full service offering that can address relay services, email services, or marketing automation. We also have now solutions for both small business and high volume senders. This offering is not just backed by a small US team that we had prior to the acquisition. It's backed by over 70 people on a global basis, speaking 13 languages and stationed all over the globe. That's a game changer for our ability to make sales. There are three major opportunities for growth in front of us as a business. The first is to accelerate SharpSpring's domestic growth. The second is to take SharpSpring overseas and take a proven solution and sell it on a global basis. The last operation is to take SharpSpring and graphic mail and to sell to much higher volume, more profitable customers. We're pursuing each of these growth vectors. Not only do we see those opportunities for growth, we're already executing against them. SharpSpring's sales accelerated by 50% in the fourth quarter of 2014. We are launching international sales of SharpSpring through our country partner network in the first quarter of 2015. We have integrated the back-end sending and deliverability of SMTP, and we're launching sales of those two products to high-volume senders also in the first quarter of 2015. In the fourth quarter of 2014 alone, we added $700,000 in annual recurring revenue with a SharpSpring product, largely domestically. We hadn't started international sales yet. We believe those customers represent an annual lifetime value of over $2.5 million to this business. Against that backdrop, we've made a decision that we're going to double up our investment in SharpSpring and marketing it globally. We're going to accelerate the investment that we're making in building strength in sales and marketing to get the word out about this product. So we're going to see a depression in EBITDA during 2015. We will continue to run positive EBITDA, but not at the rate and the levels we've run historically. And we've made a decision to suspend the dividend so that we can focus on driving this dramatic growth. We have a very strong team which integrates the leaders of the firms we've acquired integrally into our management team as we go forward. These are shareholders in our business as we move forward and are heavily invested both in terms of earnouts and in shares in making this combined enterprise a success. I mentioned earlier that Rick Carlson was a product visionary who had conceived SharpSpring. I didn't talk as much about his partner and co-founder, Travis Witten, who's our Chief Technology Officer, who with a small team has built technology which is challenging the leaders in the industry. I didn't talk yet about Nick Eckert, who has led graphic mail and who is launching international sales for all of our products and services. And I want to point out to you that Ed Lawton, our CFO, is a critical member of our team, came aboard around the same time as these acquisitions, and brings experience having scaled bottom line technologies from $100 million to over $300 million while making 20 to 25 acquisitions where he was critically involved in those efforts. So we have a very strong team to execute on our growth strategy, and we've made an investment to bring this caliber of talent aboard. We're going to use it to drive growth. Okay, so let's take a look at some financials and where we're going with the business. As I mentioned, SMTP has a long track record of consistently profitable growth. This information is available on our website. I'm not going to run through it in detail here. What's important is we've recently just about doubled revenues, and we're accelerating our growth dramatically. Q4 of 2014 was in the range of $2.8 to $2.9 million versus $1.5 million in Q4 of 2013. In addition, we've dramatically accelerated the company's growth through the acquisition primarily of SharpSpring, which is driving most of this growth. These acquisitions were made on attractive terms. Again, this information is available for your reference on the website, but very reasonable multiples for the kinds of businesses we acquired. Facts and figures on the business are also available for your review via our website. But I think the last thing I want to point out to you before we close is that SMTP is offered at relatively affordable valuation multiples. So we believe that SMTP offers a compelling opportunity for investors. We believe that our entry into the marketing automation market creates enormous upside potential and that our profitable operations mitigate investor risk. Should you have further questions or need further information, please feel free to refer to our website at investors.smtp.com.